Hey, hi, how are you? My name's Felt, and welcome back to Magic the Gathering. Today we're doing the Panharmonicon, aka Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines, as the last in our Praetor series of Historic Brawl. This series isn't entirely done, as I do believe I should be able to put together an Atraxa Grand Unifier deck for next Friday. But this is the last of the Praetors to be featured. Now, Elesh a very powerful commander. She does a lot, like a lot, preventing ETB effects from your opponent, doubling your ETB effects. I don't believe she's an S tier commander. I think she kind of sits around the same point as Shieldred in the historic Brawl meta, as well as like probably the commander meta. That they are a very powerful on-board threat, but they are single-colored, and if they are allowed to exist in combo off, they will probably just own the game, own the flow of the game. But if you're able to consistently remove them, as well as be able to deal with the other threats that they've been summoning out the whole time, they kind of fall flat. Speaking of the threats, though, survivability is actually a big thing that I play around in this deck, because you can kind of get overrun by bigger, stronger, stompier decks. So I run a Johnny's Welcome and Soul Warden, for example. So I have a little bit of protection with like Ephemerate for blinking, God's Willing for protection from certain colors, Mana Tithe, because, well, no one expects the Mana Tithe. And Swords to Plowshares is in there as well. Patriotic Humiliation, great card, great stuff. But yeah, anything that has like solid ETB effects is something that you're probably going to see in this deck. And there's also some classics like Esper Sentinel. Skrull of Defector Might makes his appearance in here, because he is both protection as well as just being a toxic win con, which can be useful. There's a lot of just solid stuff in here. I just kind of wanted to talk about the one-drop slot, because you're probably going to be playing Elesh Norn and holding open 1 mana when you play her. That works pretty well. Some of the more powerful ETB effects that I think work great with Elesh Norn include stuff like Regal Caracol, making a bunch of cat tokens. Solemn Simulacrum, basically allowing you to get through your deck by getting a bunch of lands and maybe drawing a bunch of cards. Golden Argosy, because it allows you to like blink everything and then be able to double the ETB effects. As well as cards such as like Touch the Spirit Realm, which are classics, Rumor Gatherer, Skyclave Apparition. Circuit Mender I actually think is really good. Just as a general card for the deck, and Oketra's Monument's another great thing to occupy the 3-drop slot. Bird Time and Banishing Light are classics for a reason, and we actually do have, if I can find it because I'm blind, Ossification in here as well. A new card from All Will Be One that I think is actually an amazing addition to the meta. Enchant basic land. When Ossification enters the battlefield, exile target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls until it leaves. Portable Hole, but it hits big stuff. It just has the problem of being attached to a land. It does get around stuff like Field of Ruin, though, because it's attached to a basic land, but it can be removed regardless. Other decent stuff we have in here includes like Pillager Rescuer, because we have a lot of small stuff, Doomscar for board wipes, as well as like Farewell and Vanquish the Horde for board wipes. Eternal Wanderer's in here. They're a great card, honestly, for this deck. I find Eternal Wanderer to be pretty powerful, because you can basically force bounce something of your opponents, or get a forced board wipe off of them. Maria's Call is also in here, just because it's good. Portal to Phyrexia does a great ETB effects. Sanctuary Warden, I believe, technically doubles its ETB, so it comes in with 4 shield counters. I don't know, I've not played it yet, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. And Leyline Binding is very expensive in this deck, because you will never cost it for anything less than anything less than 5. However, it can be a great follow-up to Elesh Norn on your next turn. If you're allowed to untap and you don't really have much to play except kind of sit on a Leyline Binding, you can flash it into your opponent's turn and be able to exile 2 things at once. It's not super strong. On average, Borrow Time and Banishing Light are better cards, but it's instant speed, removal, which is sometimes hard to come by in white. Lands, we do have a creature land, Blast Zone. Cabaret Courtyard technically does get double triggers off Elesh Norn, but it doesn't actually work, if that makes sense. Because you sacrifice it, and it's when you sacrifice it that you get the second part of the trigger, you actually only get 1 land out of it. It's just a funny little interaction that technically it triggers twice, but you're only allowed to go get 1 land. Rantire's in here for the lulz. Mirix is in here to possibly make Toxic Mites to maybe get you a win con. Plaza of Heroes is protection. Seed Core, it's not really super great, but there's a handful of ways to get 1/1 creatures, and you can use the corrupted ability eventually. It's also just fun for flavor. Just fun for flavor. Field of Ruin actually sees a lot of play in this deck. Honestly, you might consider running Field of Ruin and Demolition Zone to play into any of the 5-color or 4-color decks you're probably going to play. At the moment, Elesh one's pretty high in the Brawl tier, but we'll see how that changes over time. But either way, this is my version of the deck. The entire deck list will be in the description. There's going to be a bunch of gameplay that follows. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. And let's hop into the games. Alright, we are playing Joda. This is probably okay. And by probably okay, I mean very, very bad. Hopefully they just slam Joda on curve and they don't care about, like, interaction or anything. Bin the Fangbearer. I don't want to deal with that. Just, you're done. Welcoming Vampire. This will end up being a lot of card draw for me over the course of the game. I think we play Solemn next. I mean, it's 1 damage. We play Solemn here, I think. Which does trigger Welcoming Vampire, which is nice. My opponent's stuck on 3 mana. That's really good for me. Because if I can slam Elesh Norn before they can... Okay. I guess we drop our Seed Core. I was not expecting a Nickel Bolas. Alright. Alright, buddy. It doesn't have Death Touch anymore. Slam Elesh Norn. Elesh Norn cancels out Joda's ETB effects, which is nice. Unfortunately, I'm probably not going to do very well here in general. Okay, well, they don't have instant speed interaction, so I get to draw a bunch of cards. Oh, hi, Skrelv. You're great here. I think we just play Sparring Regimen and dump our Cold Steel Heart. And probably our Ornithopter as well. They're mana ramp, but they're not necessary mana ramp. This is why we run Sparring Regimen, by the way. Yeah, 6/6, great. Math is hard. I guess they could double block her. That doesn't seem super worthwhile for them, though. So I can also just, like, tap Skrelv and go pro whatever color they're playing. Filer of Faith, I think, is, like, good here. So, fun fact, this is an ETB effect? Kind of? But I don't actually know how that interacts with Elesh Norn. Honestly. I don't know how that interacts with Elesh Norn. This is not like a joke or a bit. I don't know if it works. And I don't know if it doesn't work. Looks like the answer is it does work because it's not an Into the Battlefield effect. Wow. Joda just straight up hard counters Elesh Norn, huh? That's so cool and fun. Oh well, we have a board wipe. We might just play Portal to Phyrexia, though, if we draw a land. Ah, cool. Portal to Phyrexia. Say bye to 3 of your things over there, Joda buddy boy. You have 1 open mana. I can't imagine you're actually playing anything that matters here. Oh, you're gone. Bye. My Elesh Norn's better. God, that's the most childish thing. I didn't realize that it wasn't an ETB effect on Joda. I think maybe I misspoke in my intro then. Yeah, because it's whenever you cast, not whenever it enters the battlefield. That's rough for Elesh Norn in this particular matchup. I have a feeling that says Elesh Norn is going to get stuck in this matchup a lot. I think the matchmaker is going to make her a lot higher tiered than she actually is. Because she can combo off like this. Like, I got a pretty decent, like, combo off turn here. I kind of got to go off and get some stuff done. But, like, overall, I think Elesh Norn's still not that great. We'll see. We'll see. This is like my... I played a handful of games with her the other day. And she did pretty okay. But overall, Didn't really wow me. We'll see. Maybe she'll wow me as we keep recording here. Keep it rolling. All right. So we have a turn 1 Esper, turn 2 Ornithopter. And if we draw a land, we have turn 3 Key to the Archives. I guess we kind of pray for that. What are we playing into? Trelisara? Oh, this is an awful matchup for us. This matchup is awful for us. Thankfully, I don't think they'll play much removal. Maybe they'll play some fight spells, though. We just gotta pray that this goes well. Honestly, this is literally just like hopes and prayers right now. Alright, Leyline Binding, you're being really helpful here, buddy. Man. I told you that this doesn't, like, typically do its thing. They slam their commander, because that's all any Trelisara player does. We now really pray for lands here. Just really pray for them, because if we don't get them, we are probably not even going to use this recording. I don't like recording games that don't do anything, that don't, like, have anything that happens. They aren't super fun to me. If I draw a land... Oh, thank you. Thank you, everything above. We probably will end up just dropping whatever we grab here. Yeah, we probably just, like, claim the firstborn here. I guess technically we could have gotten a Doomblade out of that and been like, haha, Doomblade, but I don't think it's that good. We have 4, 5, 6 open mana, which means we can play Elesh Norn and a 1-drop. We'll just slam a Johnny's Welcome here then. Hindsight, that was a total misplay. I should have played a Johnny's Welcome first. My bad. We still get to play Skyclave Apparition and exile 2 of their things on this next turn. Great ETB trigger from my opponent there. Happens. Skyclave. Let's see. This is... It's flying, so it's kind of annoying, but I think I just want to take out their 2 things that can, like, life link. Or, sorry, gain... Like, they clearly are going to have, like, life gain synergies in their deck. I just want to take out the things that'll actually do that and cause problems. Slam the Circuit Mender so I can gain a bunch of my life back. That's, like, 9 life. That math is hard, but that's like 9 life, right? I think it was actually 6 life, but still, it was a lot of life. And we have our Golden Argosy here. We have our Leyline Binding. The double team just conjures a copy, right? Which isn't really a big deal. Okay, Golden Argosy will actually do pretty well here, I think. We'll slam the Fledgling, I guess. Swing with Elesh Norn. Argosy's going to do great here, because even if it does, like, just die, we can still crew with Skyclave and Circuit Mender here. And just, like, get their effects, which will be great. You still can't, like, do ETB effects there, buddy boy, but okay. Well, also, I might just slam double team to take care of their flyers. Not double team, god. Words are hard. Crew with those 2. If it dies, it dies. Because the effect sits on the stack. They can, like, quadruple block this thing and just take... Math is hard. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 open mana. Meaning I can play my Ichor Wellspring here. Draw 2. Profit. Including with my Ganjo. Fearless Fledgling gets big. End turn. These things come back in. We get a boatload of triggers. Trelisara and I think just like one of their flyers here. Golden Argosy makes this deck go out of control, by the way. You just get, like, endless ETB triggers. And I think any deck will struggle to keep up if they're not doom-scarring you. Man, that is a decision. I guess when you're just like desperately trying to get something done, you'll sometimes just like, yeah, I'm gonna just like replay my commander like 5 times. Yeah, okay, there they go. They didn't get any life gains energies going. I thought we were for sure in trouble. I thought for sure there was gonna be like a turn 1 a Johnny's welcome into a turn 2 Trillisara, but they didn't have it, so we just got to not care. They didn't grow their big creature, so we got to just profit. GG's opponent, you stuck with it until you realized how far ahead I was, but GG's nonetheless. Alright, we don't have any early game plays here. But a turn 3 Circuit Mender or Lauren isn't really bad. Man, you really fight a variety of commanders with Elesh Norn. I think the matchmaker doesn't know where to put her yet. I think it's kind of lost on where she's supposed to be going right now, which is fair. Which is fair. I think it's kind of fair for the matchmaker to not really know what to do with Elesh Norn at the moment. She's kind of like everywhere, so to speak. Interesting. They played Demolition Field here. Are they going to Demolition Field my Field of Ruin? That's such a weird choice. Maybe it's just to mana fix. I guess this is a moment of, in hindsight, I could have just played like my basic lands, but... Big old chonky butt. I think it's more important to get my Fearless Fledgling down here, actually. And then I'll play my Swiftfoot Boots afterwards. Next turn I'll be able to slam Elesh Norn, which I think will be super useful. And then I'll be able to start slamming other stuff. Like my opponent. Crucible of Worlds, huh? Interesting. No blocks. They have first strike. They can destroy... Are they just gonna keep removing counters from my fledgling? Oh, and I'm just gonna chump block then. I'm gonna do the cheeky thing and just use Lauren. No lands from graveyards for you. I can probably, God's willing, like, pro black onto something. Cultivate, who cares? Next turn I think I'm probably gonna play Rumor Gatherer. If I draw a land, it'll be beautiful. Do I chump block here with Lauren? I think Lauren's kind of served her purpose at this point, right? Painted Adversary, interesting. So you just like Death Touch Tribal? Alright, well this made my decision really easy. Man, Elesh Norn do be kinda good, huh? We keep holding up God's Willing just in case they find a way to get rid of my Swiftfoot Boots and kill Elesh Norn. That's really my biggest concern here. She has Hexproof. You gotta keep that in mind, opponent. If I make them like double burn stuff on the Swiftfoot Boots, maybe I'll be good that way. Green and black does have great ways to deal with certain things. But not a ton of things. I really hope if I draw another land, I can be able to play my Oketra's Monument. Wait, am I doing math wrong? Have I been able to play my Oketra's Monument this whole time? Because it reduces the cost of... Yep. Alright. Well, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I forgot it as cost. I haven't played with too many of the monuments, okay? I've just started pulling them out in my historic Brawl decks. The monuments are very powerful cards. Like I said, though, I just started pulling them out in my historic Brawls. I think my opponent's in trouble unless they pull out a board wipe. Vraska's not really all that scary here.
Phyrexia is as inevitable as the rise of the downtrodden. The downtrodden.
Especially when they're so low on life in the first place. Okay. Land, so my little fledgling gets to fly. Inspiring Overseer just to get a billion triggers. Scry into draw. Can't actually play that land this turn, I just wanted to have it. Scry into Scry. Into draw, into draw. We have a Swords to Plowshares here, which is wonderful. Go super wide. What do they have in hand? What do I care about? I care about a Liliana Dreadhorde General. Man, there's a lot of triggers. Holy cow. Okay, we Swords the Glissa. And then we kill the Vraska? We don't have lethal, do we? Oh, okay, that's just game. Okay, bye. Yeah, see, this is a great example of when this deck gets to pop off. My opponent didn't have, like, super heavy removal. I couldn't really play around Meat Hook. Meat Hook was just gonna be there. Like, I couldn't stop the Meat Hook, so I was gonna name Liliana to make it so that they couldn't, like, make me start sacking stuff. Like, I don't think they were dead in the water there. I think that they were... How much lane do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. So they could most they could do is X equal 5, so they couldn't kill Elesh Norn. They could have wiped my board though. They could have just like hard wiped my board. I still would have had all my value having gotten it. I probably should have brought him to the plains in hindsight. That's a misplay on my part, but my opponent I think just got kind of frustrated. They really should have stuck it out though, because they could have meat hooked for 3 that would have only used like 5 mana, and then oh, the rest of their hand was painfully expensive. Never mind, I get it now. I don't know, they still could have meat hooked for 3, and all I would have had was Elesh Norn. They would have lost their Vraska, but like all I would have had would have been an Elesh Norn, and a 4/7 does get the job done, but it takes a hot minute. Either way, GG's, on to the next. Alright, my opponent goes first, but we have great 2 and 3 drops. They are playing Nithroi, Apex of Death. Just mutate. Whenever this creature mutates, this is powerless. Okay, so it's probably gonna like self-mill. So I'm really happy with this hand having a farewell in it, because I can just hit their graveyard. Depending on what they play will determine what I do here. Creature or Planeswalker. I'm really confused about the Altar of Dementia. Maybe they just want to self-mill? We'll just start on this next turn with Lauren, though. Unless they play something that I really want to ossify. That's a little more dangerous, actually. I think the Altar of Dementia is, like, a little annoying, but I think that them being able to sack creatures for mana is much more dangerous when they have a Mutate Commander on hand. If you want to sack it to mill, be my guest. No, they didn't. Okay. They do probably have removal held up here. Which I don't know if that's like the right play for them, but whatever. Maybe they could just like bring back their creature. Maybe they have enchantment removal. Yeah, they have enchantment removal. I mean, I don't quite get what the point of that was, though. Like this... Do they just really want to pay life here? I mean, like, stopping my Lauren doesn't really do anything. Let's make them do it again in their upkeep. Do it! Pay for life again. Oh, you let it go this time? What the? What? Why do you have an Altar of Dementia if you're scared to use it? Alright, well, like, hopefully they just don't have removal here. Wait, they don't have... Alright, well, we just play Elesh Norn now. And we just probably slowly eke out some value. I'm just gonna hope they don't have removal. I feel like I kind of need to play Elesh Norn on curve here. And, of course, they have the answers. Oh well, it's fine. That's always how these matchups go. Your opponent always has the answer, and you never do. Sedge. They're kind of not able to do anything right now, though. They haven't really done anything. The most they've done is, like, have a Vanguard come back. I don't know. I feel like this is one of those matchups where I feel like Elesh Norn just loses value monumentally because your opponent will just, like, not care about her and then just, like, kill her when she enters the board because she's so expensive and it's almost impossible to hold up protection simultaneously. Yeah, we can't allow that Witch's Oven to exist. No thank you. They only have one card in hand, so maybe they don't have any removal here. If they don't have removal, we get at least, like, one attempt of safety. Of course they do. Yeah, no, that sounds about par for the course. Don't you worry, though. We have our lands. Oh, man, this is so painful. Holy cow. We have drawn nothing but lands. We have had 3 non-land cards. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Yeah, let's just, like... What are you playing in your hand? Okay. Well, we'll just name their commander. I guess technically the mutate effect is probably still the same cost. Is this like the only reason they really wanted Elesh Norn to not be on the board? Weird, but okay. Alright, round 4. Fight. Welcome to how it feels to play Elesh Norn. If you didn't get like a crazy card advantage combo early in the game, you're just kind of stuck holding Elesh Norn and watching your opponent kill her over and over and over again. Because you don't really have much of a choice. You kind of have to play her to prevent your opponent's value engines from going off, because that is her whole point. She's a stacks piece, right? But like, then your opponent plays 4 removal spells, and you're like, alright, well, yeah, that's cool. Unfortunately, she doesn't actually counter this, by the way, which is why I was a little confused by like the constant just like, out of the my opponent to just constantly murder her. It's a cast trigger, not an enter the battlefield trigger. Like, there's a real big difference. There's a real big difference on those two things. Cast triggers, Elesh Norn cannot do anything about them because they are cast triggers. Into the battlefields, though, those are 2 different things. I think we just play Amiria's Call here, unless we draw something amazing. It gives me indestructible for a turn, which is nice. Ephemerate's good. Ephemerate is good protection. Sorry about that. Something caught in my throat. Okay. I still have indestructible. I still have indestructible for like an entire turn here. But now I have flyers. I do think we're in big trouble, though. I still think my opponent is just going to be able to run over this game really soon. Probably going to be able to mutate onto this thing and then just, like, win off of it. Probably. See, this is an ability we can counter. This is something that we can counter. See, because that ETB trigger is an ETB trigger, which is countered by Elesh Norn. That's something we can take care of really easily. And I believe this also doesn't get countered because it's casting. Stuff like this is why I often wonder why people were freaking out and like, Elesh Norn needs to be banned! Ah! Like... You realize she doesn't stop, like, every single trigger in the world, right? She doesn't stop most of them, as a matter of fact. Gonna play Regal Caracal, get a pile of cats. We can also ephemerate it to make another pile of cats soon. There's no reason to swing right here, though. Maybe with the cats soon. Yeah, no. Elesh Norn doesn't, like... She doesn't stop a lot of stuff that I think people were really concerned about. Cast triggers? Like, see, look. They have 2 cast triggers there, and both of those get to trigger. They don't get the Soul Warden triggers, but who cares, right? Like, they still get all of their cast triggers, and they have so many cards that are like, when you cast a thing, you get a thing. Which is just, like, so ridiculously strong. Oh, are they just, like, playing it? Are they mutating it onto that? I guess I could have ephemerated it in response, but, like... I don't know, like, what are they really getting back here? Like, 3 or 4 creatures? But they still don't get ETB effects. We're on a very big board stall. Do I just farewell the board? I think I just farewell the board. I think that's just the play here. I think we swing in with our flyers and then just farewell this all. The only thing we leave out is enchantments. We may as well get in, like, the damage that we can. I actually think in hindsight, I probably didn't even want to do that because I trigger their Trillisara. But oh well. Creatures, artifacts, graveyards. Bye-bye. That takes their everything away from them. And we get to keep our Leyline Binding. Man, this is going to take a hot minute, huh? This is why we hit Graveyard, by the way. This right here is why we hit Graveyard. Because they're going to sack their entire board state to Warstrider, taking up probably 10 minutes here. But it's all going to be gone, so... They can sack everything here. They can. They have the power. This is going to take forever. But their board state is still going to be gone. And everything will be exiled, so they can't replay any of this. And a lot of these seem to be some of their stronger combo pieces. Are you really going to just, like, sack your whole board state? Man, they really are. Players like this, I understand why they're doing what they're doing. But man, on Arena, is this the most boring, slow-paced shit. In paper, this is a lot easier, because you can just say, okay, I'm going to sack my whole board, and I'm going to scry over and over again, up to a maximum of however many creature cards they had here. However many creature cards they had here. I can't think of the number. Because, like, this is just a much easier mechanic to resolve in paper. I sack everything up to Warstrider, and I scry a limited number of times until I hit something that I want. Right? Like, it's one of those things, which is like, you will just, like, scry eventually to find something you want, and then you'll stop scrying, right? But you can just be like, okay, well, I'm going to scry this many times. Look at top card, no. Look at top card, no. Look at top card, no. And then you do it, like, 7 times. Oh my god, finally. That took so long. Holy cow. I think we just slam Celestis here. It gives us card selection. Just something we kind of desperately need right now. We did take care of, like, their absolutely everything, though, and they're down to, like, 67 cards in deck. We got rid of a lot of their sack, like, outlets and sack, not responses, but, like, things they get out of sacking. I got rid of a lot of that. Unfortunately, that's probably all their deck runs, is a bunch of these creatures. Math is hard. Can I just slam Elesh Norn here? I think I can. I think I can also hold up Ephemerate, right? 8, 9, 10, 11. I cannot, actually. I cannot do both. We're gonna slam her anyways, though. We need to shut off the Prosperous Innkeeper. They drew removal. Of all things, they drew removal. That pause, that screams I drew removal. Yep. Welcome to trying to play Elesh Norn. Everyone always top decks removal into you. Did they top deck? Okay, they got a Boseiju. That's nice for them, I guess. Here's my question though. What does that Boseiju do for you right now? Like how did that help you? Like you get to sack creatures now? I got rid of your cat. Your cat's gone. The Cauldron Familiar is dead. I can't play this. It makes me sad. I want to point out we're getting all of our like protection blink spells. And it's just not working. Alright, let's just go ahead and cycle once, shall we? No. We need our creatures. We need tons of creatures here. Unfortunately, we're not really drawing into them. We're not drawing our ways to draw them. Ah, you can play additional lands. And you sure drained me. I should be able to just slam Elesh Norn. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have exactly enough mana, and if I draw... Interesting. And I have exactly enough to play God's Willing or Ephemerate if I draw another card. I did not. I will play Elesh Norn anyways. They don't have anything in hand. This is really just a top deck war. Are they really just playing the I will, like, drain you with Dina play? Because that's, like, kind of boring. I don't know. I guess when I took away their entire board state, they kind of have to, right? Maybe I'll eventually draw into my, my good goods. Black market connections. That's rough for me. Oh well, we get to play Ambitious Farmhand here, which is nice. I don't really get the Coven effect, but... I do get to just get 2 basic planes into hand. Allows me to play one, which I can... So this is going to be a weird thing here, but I'm going to ephemerate it because I want to get more planes out of my deck, so I stop drawing them. I've kind of hit critical mass on lands. And I just want to get them out of my deck now. Right? So this allows me to just kind of bounce my my Ambitious Farmhand a lot of times in a row. And just get like a ton of planes just out of my deck. My opponent does get to essentially draw 2 per turn. Solemn's also really good for that, just like get my lands out of my deck thing. My opponent's going to get to draw a lot of cards here, make a lot of stuff. They don't get a lot of their ETB triggers, which is nice. We still have God's Willing to protect. And we also have our Plaza of Heroes, so we actually have 2 forms of protection here. They will slowly drain me out, but I will eventually be able to transform Ambitious Farmhand and just start swinging in with Lifelink. Start making up for what's going on. Eventually. It'll take like 3 turns, which will be about 45 minutes with how my opponent is playing the game here. I'm being humorous, dear viewer. They're allowed to take their time. It's just one of those things where they're playing just like a super... Protection from multicolored. Okay. That's rough for me. Kind of. Alright, let's rebound. And let's get more lands out of the deck, shall we? Did we already hit our swords? I don't think we hit our swords. And like I said, we are absolutely just getting our lands out of our deck ASAP. That is like the whole purpose of this here. And then I think we'll be playing double spells here, so we will be able to cycle with Celestis. Oh, it's if I cast no spell. So since I double spelled, we Celestis trigger. We probably just block with everybody, by the way. Wow, this is rough. Because otherwise I think they're going to basically be able to sack and kill me as a response. So we basically just kind of have to do whatever. Unfortunately, we cannot protect Elesh Norn here. Man, we are just drawing all of our planes. I mean, we have Plaza of Heroes. Unfortunately, we can't coven this guy. I might leave... I can actually, hang on. Let me just do that now. So now he's a lifelinker, which does save me a bit of pain. Because the Stone Coil Serpent doesn't kill me. Dina can drain me to death, but like now if they swing in with like everything, Season Cathar really helps. Solemn Simulacrum is going to let me draw 2 cards. This is a moment if I maybe shouldn't have done this. Because now I can't make Elesh Norn indestructible. God's Willing is a nice, like, pocket plan. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, it deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card. I don't... Okay, we just have to block everything here, by the way. Don't know why they're swinging with that. Block that. Esper Sentinel, you're gonna save me some damage here. Maybe they have a pump spell? If they don't, they just lost, like, their big way of, Ooh, you know what I can do? I can give it pro... I can give it, like, pro something. Right? I can give Season Cathar, like, pro green here, right? Eternal Wanderer is actually a really nice draw. Oh, that seems a little silly. I don't know why they would do that. Alright, Eternal Wanderer. First things first.
If you can.
Yeah. Gain my life. Which I believe means it'll enter as a 0/0 here. Could be wrong, but I think it does. Because it won't come back, because it comes in with X +1/+1, so it comes back in as a 0/0, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe it comes back in as a 0/0. God, what a grindy game. Oh, they can Dina combo me, can't they? Yeah, they win now. They can Dina combo me, I believe. They barely have enough mana, I believe. They might be able to. We'll see. We'll see if they can... They don't get any ETB effects, but like I said, if they barely have enough mana for this, I think it works. I think they just Dina combo me to death with Sanguine Blood or Exquisite Blood, which I'm not gonna lie is kind of a boring way to win this game out. Yeah, it's just a Dino combo. Kind of a boring way to win this game out, but hey. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do when you're playing a really weird deck. If that was the whole purpose of this deck, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of sad. I was expecting something more than just, I'm just gonna Exquisite Blood combo you with Dina, but hey. You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess? I don't know. I'm really sad that this ended up just being a classic Exquisite Blood combo. Don't get me wrong, like, I respect the whole, like, you have your win cons, you play around your win cons. I just find Exquisite Blood comboing to be a little dull. It's a tried and true combo. It works every time. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It works every time. You just win the game off of it. right? Like there's nothing that the opponent can be done if they can't interrupt the combo, which I can't because I drew 3 planes. I don't know if there's anything I could have done in that instance, though. I think I was just kind of dead. There may have been misplays along the way, but that was a grueling game. Holy cow. GG's opponent. You eventually got there. Alright, well I hope you got to see a general idea of how Elesh Norn is played, including a grueling 20-minute game slogfest that I probably sounded very tired and unhappy by the end of it, but that's because it was literally a 20-minute game. But yeah, that's Elesh Norn. I still think she's kind of mid as a commander. I think if you play her in other decks, like Atraxa decks perhaps, or just like any deck that has like some solid ETB synergies, I think she would be a great combo piece for like Yorion. But I think as a commander, she's kind of mid. I think she's way too prone to removal unless you like really stack the deck with self-protection, which can be hard. Because even if you do have all that self-protection, sometimes your opponent is playing like a combo deck where you're like, I want to stop their ETB triggers to stop them from just like murdering me. So you're like, okay, well, I have to play her to stop those. And then they just draw their removal and stuff like that. Like, she doesn't do a great job of protecting herself. 4/7 isn't really enough, especially in Historic Brawl. And I think that's another thing, is that this is Historic Brawl. This is not Commander, right? Historic Brawl is a very different game than Commander is. Commander, you can like finagle your way into saying, if you let my Elesh Norn live here, I'll do a thing for all of us, you know? Like, you can, like, kind of finagle your way into stuff like that. Whereas in Historic Brawl, Elesh Norn is a, I want that dead now card, you know? Because it prevents a lot of the fun of a lot of cards. I personally think she's going to settle into, like, a happy A tier, probably more along the lines of, like, a Jin Kataxis than a Shieldred. Because Elesh Norn doesn't really, like, combo off and win upon entering the board on turn 3, right? Like you kind of can with Shieldred. You get a Shieldred on the board on turn 2, all of a sudden your opponent's like, oh, well, I'm probably dead. Get an Elesh Norn on the board on like turn 3 or something because you ramped perfectly via... I don't know, White doesn't have that much ramp, actually. Let me think. Say you got essentially like Mind Stone, Cold Steel Heart, Arcane Signet type stuff rolling really early. I guess it would be like a, what? I don't actually know how you would ramp hard enough, because I don't think White has any 1-drop mana rocks. There's probably a way, though. Bottom line, in my opinion, is that Elesh Norn's good, but she's not that good. I think overall she's pretty mid-tier, up to potentially like A-tier. Mid-tier, I mean like B-tier, by the way. B is like mid for me, because it's like A and S, and then below is like C and D. She's like a solid B-tier, kind of mid-ish tier. On her own commander, I think as a combo piece in other decks, her value skyrockets. Atraxa, Yorion are 2 big ones that I can think of right off the gate, where like you have powerful ETB triggers already, and you're just comboing off of the piece that makes them even stronger. I think she can still hold her own. You saw it in like the first 3 out of these 4 games that she just kind of can hold her own and go off hard. But like any deck that can grind her out, she is going to suffer greatly unless you get like a really powerful combo going off with like Rumor Gatherer and like Skyclave Apparition, Circuit Mender, and then like Golden Argosy. Like I had that one time, and that was like a great way to grind value, but like if you don't get that combo, is she really that good? I don't know. You decide. You try out the deck. You tell me what I got wrong. You tell me what I got right. You tell me my misplays or something. I don't know. Thanks for hanging out and watching, though, and I hope to catch you in the next one.